Hello everyone, Foxpen here, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Foxpenmanship. In this episode, Nara and I are going to finish our reviews of the top 30 applications for Mossflower Odyssey 5 Heaven Sent. In this episode, we're going to do our reviews of the Marksman, the Brigand, the Assassin, and we're going to finish off with that special category, the wildcard category. And once again, I'd like to give a big thanks to Abraham, Fern, and of course Sycamore for helping Nara and I do those readings. That was a lot of fun, and we hope you all enjoyed it. We're going to start with Floros, the 40-year-old male shrew in the Marksman category. Nara, you have an opinion on Floros, aside from his super sexy name?
I can't hear anything at all.
Oh no, for reals? What about now?
There we go. Oh, that's much better. Yeah, I got, like, I was just sat there for about 30 seconds going, is the intro happening? Is anything happening?
Oh no.
Are we saying anything at all?
Okay,
What's
I think
up?
I know what
Okay,
happened. Yeah. I knocked a cable a little bit loose, and I think it was just loose enough. But I think I recorded my voice, so I'm just gonna leave you in the dark and just pretend I said something really cool.
Okay, I can do that. Yeah, that was extremely cool of you. Well done.
I know,
Big
right?
fan.
Like, you're never gonna hear another speech like that again.
No, it's just,
So,
meaning of life all wrapped up in 25 words. Brilliant.
Floros, the shrew marksman. What do you think of Floros, aside from his super sexy name?
Flauros. Yeah, I was pronouncing it with the because we always used to make these jokes about flowery writing, but flowery with a flower, as in the stuff you use to bake with. So Flauros, my immediate thought was,
It totally
okay,
is
so he's
pronounced
a grizzled
Flauros.
old ex-mercenary shrew with a crown of flowers. I can do that. That's fine. I can live with that. We are definitely starting on an app that I might be a little bit controversial about. I don't like it all that much.
I mean, okay, that's fair.
Okay, there's as always there is loads of. I've just realised I haven't got my notes up. As always, there's loads of caveats around what I just said, being all wide-reaching and frank and such. What we've got here is, there's some good vocab, there's some good usage, there are some very punchy sentences that I do like in here. But we do have, let's be honest, a very tropey character. We're looking at an ex-mercenary who doesn't want to do the thing anymore, who happens to be recognised by the judge, who is the subject of urban legends. It is all stuff we've seen before, and it kind of hurts this app because Flauros is a really grumpy ex-mill, and because we know the trope, because we've seen this character before, we know how he'll interact with people, and we see how he interacts with people in this app here. That particular character leaves no scope at all for character interaction, because you know what it's going to be like, and it's not really going to be fun to read. I mean, it's without a doubt quite fun to write, and if you're reading the whole thing from Flauros, third-person narrator around Flauros, then it's going to be a bit of a romp, a old antagonist story. He would be without a doubt a very strong antagonist, but that constructive element, the back and forth with other writers, the possibility isn't really there.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you said regarding Floros. He is incredibly tropey. He's very, like, we've seen this character in the books, in Survivor contests before, on TV, in movies. It's yeah, and there's only one way that this character ever ends, and it's usually like dead. I think one creative spin I've seen on this character was Salazar from Mossflower Odyssey 2 Into the Deep, where like he brought in like the character was quiet, not quite as arrogant as our Floros here, but like it was still like that ex kind of thug, and
Yeah.
same shrew too. It was also just like there's also like it was a shrew too, like an older shrew too, another parallel there. But Salazar, like he was brainwashed in the end. It turned out that was the twist, and then the character like totally changed once this information came out, and there was all this development and an amazing arc that happened. He ended up winning the contest. That is few and far between, that kind of quality, and I don't think Floros actually achieves that. This character is, you can literally call what he's going to do shot for shot the moment he's conveniently recognized by this conveniently shoddy executioner. His eyes light up, and all of a sudden he's still the same shrew, but now like we see this other completely exaggerated character trait, which is greed. Like he really likes money. He'll do anything for money, it seems, including renege on his convictions about fate. That being said, I do like this character's complete and this app's dedication to the theme of fate. There's quite a few little inferences, and it even ends on a note, guided by the divine will of fate, the dagger found its target. So I do like that little consistency throughout the app, that little treat there that's for us. But yeah, this and it's a technically sound app. The wording's good. There's some good descriptors here, but I mean, I do expect that anyway out of a top 30 app. So this app, Floros, to me, he's nothing special. Yeah, I gotta say, if he gets into the contest, there's really only one way I see this ending for him. And like I said before, he's gonna be joining Till.
You just want Till dead.
Die, Till!
You will
for
stop
no
at
reason
nothing,
other
won't
than
you?
I deem it necessary.
Yeah. You're going to pay one of the judges to just sort of let you into the contest by the back door, just to stab the otter. That's oh dear, tut tut, such corruption. So yeah, I mean, broadly speaking, okay, we've started on a not very sympathetic bent. Very sorry, but you have the zeal for writing. Definitely, you've got the enthusiasm. You've got the I want to tell this story and I want to punch it out onto paper and hit people in the face with it. And that's fantastic. Keep doing it, by all means. Not so sure you're going to get into the contest. That's fine. This is a thing, a step on the way. We do not mean our harshness, because we have been a bit harsh about this one, with any malice. This is just, these are the things that you do have to consider, especially when you're writing in a big group thing. A character in a group scenario has to be compatible. There has to be the possibility of compatibility with other characters, and we don't see that in Flauros, and we kind of don't see it in his narration either. Flip side, there's some very punchy sentences in here. The screams of heresy, the triviality, the fate doesn't care about trivial things. So there is a commitment to an ideology, a non-standard ideology, and if you expose that a bit more and played less with the grumpy action hero kind of characterization, then I think we'd be looking at a solid, well-rounded app. Yeah, that's really all I've got for this one. I just finished yelling about Flauros, but also yelling at the author not to stop writing. Kind of feel a bit Gordon Ramsay-ish. Bit mean. But hopefully also resulting in, quality cuisine at the end of the day.
Indeed, and the writing is solid with Floros. It's just, unfortunately, it's not really quite a contender for this contest.
Yeah. I think we can safely say that.
Yeah.
But hey. Okay, shall we move on to Syla?
Yes, the Wood Mouse, 29, and there's a content warning. Ooh. This this is one of those apps that like I really, really, really want to like, and the character is actually quite awful. He's evil.
Oh yeah. I
And he's
mean,
good
I
at
could.
it.
Yeah, he's whoever wrote this character has written an absolute monster, and I viscerally dislike Siler. I really do. So I guess you get props for that, kind of.
I wonder how that'll come into play in the contest. You know, like an evil character. Is he going to turn out to be like a traitor? Is he going to murder someone? Because like this
Oh well, I
the
mean,
plot is like save the village, and I mean who knows where these characters will wind up in the end. But still, like Siler is through and through quite a cad. I like how the adult themes are handled in this one. I think it's very tastefully done. There's just enough like implication that like that wink and that nod is there, so that's very skillfully done. It's a PG-13 contest, so I'm not really sure how far you're gonna be able to take that.
yeah,
um,
I mean, even the implication at the end could very firmly be argued to be outside the PG-13 category. I mean,
yeah,
it
like
certainly would
right
be
up
over
until
here.
that very last line, it was just kind of like this subtle little detail, and then that very last line takes it to the line.
Yeah, definitely. Um, I mean, this is always an interesting question. Can you actually turn around and say no, not voting for this on that basis? I think it just has to be left to personal taste in the end. I probably wouldn't, because PG-13 contest, very clearly an adventure story. There's some room for villainy and double crossing and generally being unpleasant to people, but I don't think there's this much room for it. But again, that's just my taste. There's going to be people out there who say, look, yeah, they wrote well enough that I'll vote them in, and I'll trust that they will see all of these reviews and all of this feedback and tone it down a bit. And that's a valid stance as well. So your mileage varies on this one. What I think it does do when an app takes a risk like this in particular, something that people might actually see and go, no, that's not okay. I think what that always does is reduces the pool of people who would be willing to vote for it. So you've definitely hurt your chances, because there will be some people who read this and say, no way, I'll vote for one of the other two.
Yes, but allow me to stand on the opposite end of that. I really actually saw it. I mean, the last line cemented how nasty this character is, but everything that came before it was so well done and construed just what a nasty fella this guy is, and I really liked how it was handled. I mean, everything about him reeks of like he's a jerk. He plays with his food, basically knocking the hat off the stove before he arrests him and humiliates him. They were old. I don't know if maybe Falfred's just drunk and trying to talk his way out of this, but like he calls them an old messmate, so like they know each other, which makes it sting extra hard when you're murdered by someone you know.
Yeah.
And
and that is,
sleeping with his wife, that was like, oh dude, like way to rub glass in the wound.
Yeah, glass and salt all together at once. The whole, this whole motivation and this whole thing of, we know each other, but I'm here to kill you now. Again, you're highlighting Siler as a nasty piece of work. Yeah, proper nasty piece of work. And sure, absolutely fine. I think you're gonna get quite a lot of people. I'm not saying you've reduced your possible voting pool by half. I reckon maybe 10% of people would read this. This is very ballpark. Would read this and say, yeah, but I can't really vote for that kind of content. So you've still got a decent shot, in all truth. But
Yeah,
yeah, this is
definitely,
this is
definitely.
a
The app
nasty piece of work.
will turn some people away, but I think the technical skill and like there's little things about this app. That's what it is. It's a bunch of little things that paint a really nice big picture. There's one line,
Yeah,
Siler's cold blue eyes born to fall for it. It's like that line alone, it tells you this guy is so emotionless and cold-hearted and nonchalant and like I guess professional too. Like it's just it all adds up to capture my interests, and like he's a jerk, and every good story needs a villain, and I think maybe I'm seeing Siler as the villain for the
yeah,
contest. I could see him in that role somewhere along the way turning against the group, whether that's how it starts or that's how it develops. Either way, I'd like to see that. I wouldn't mind seeing this character again.
yeah.
But yeah,
There's
there's
a
that
lot of
interesting
options.
dichotomy, like is he the kind of character other people want to see? Who knows?
Yeah. I think there's, I think in the end, from what we were talking about last time, he's a risk. And in this case, they're playing the risk of, I want to make a character who people love to hate. And does love
Yeah.
to hate work in the context of this contest? I don't know. It probably does, truthfully. Would I vote for him? Not sure. Depends on how I feel about the other people in the category. And yes, you're absolutely right. The technicals of the app, the way it pulls everything together, really do build this character who you absolutely detest by the end of it. You're like, and there's a flip side to that. Any character who you absolutely hate at the beginning is a candidate for a redemption arc, or
Oh
a
yeah, there's
revenge
always
arc,
that
or
angle.
something else like that. There's all sorts of ways you could play it. So yeah, I think talking leveling Siler's content against him isn't really. I mean, I already say I don't think it's going to have a huge effect. I think it is a. But yeah, he's a risk. He's another risk. We like risks. They're all over the place. They're brilliant, and I do love some of the. I love the way he's written the tone in. I say he. Who knows with the author. I do love the tone. There's a couple of bits. I think it's again first paragraph. There's some bits where the past perfect and the past continuous bleed into each other. It's fine. It happens sometimes. It's one very small technical mark against you. Everything else is written very solidly. This is 100%. This is a noir revenge story. No, not a noir revenge story. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It's the wife taking revenge on the NPC, using Siler as the weapon. Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot here. It is a fantastic app, and yeah, the content warning is somewhat valid. So yeah, dichotomy, balance, risk, all of those lovely words. That's all I've got.
Well, yeah, that pretty much sums up my opinion as well. Let's move on. Unga Underbite.
Yeah.
And we have another shrew. A lot of shrews in this contest. 29-year-old
There really are.
female. I had a lot of fun reading her. She, the dialogue in there, I love the accents. The dialogue flows really well. There's a lot of it, but it doesn't overwhelm the application either. And there's enough detail in there too that like it paints a picture to justify the dialogue. You really do get a sense of the relationship outside the dialogue. You could read this with the words, without the
Yeah.
words. I like this character. We have seen her before, regardless of her fast talking that I do in the readout. Like we have seen this archetype before. She's like probably this matronly, mentor type figure that everyone's gonna like and get along with. And she's patient as well because she could kill him, but she won't because she's like, I still care about him. But there's something that clicks with her character. It's very charismatic. I like it. I like that she's a shrew. We don't get a lot of shrews, especially lady shrews. So that's always interesting. And there's opportunity as well for this character to just like have an into the contest very easily. She cares about people, so there's that. She's also like she's a ruffian in the end, isn't she? So she could also be bought and paid for. It's just a very easy character, and while I don't view her as all too special, I could see her working very well in the contest itself.
Yeah. Yeah, so Unga's another one of these ones where the type does not happen in the app. So Sylar is hunting for a target. Sorry, this is Marksman's. Flauros goes on about combat archery. Sylar takes a hat off someone's head from a distance. Unga doesn't do anything, but in this case, I think it kind of works because the threat is there, and enough detail and menace is there to tell you she is definitely a marksman.
That was well handled.
This close, she could put a dart through his ticker and pierce his ears before he fell. That's delightful. That's very well phrased. She could tack him to the far wall like a hide stretched out for tanning.
Oh, she's mad.
Yeah, she's very angry. But there's this, like you say, there's this wonderful thing of, well, she's mad, but she's seasoned. And she kind of expects this to happen sometimes. And, she views it more as part of the kid's learning curve than anything else. A couple of hours, couple of days, maybe she'd hunt down old Snaggy and teach him the consequences of doing a fair beast dirty. She's still not sure either way whether she's just going to let him off with it because he's so naive and new to the business, or whether she is just going to say, you know what, no, that was too much, you die now. And there's these lovely bits in the dialogue as well, you should consider investing. What? Carry on with the robbery then. She's absolutely in control of the situation, even though she's the one being held at knife point, and that's wonderful. Love it. Excellent character, very well written. And I don't think I had any technicals for this one either. She's completely solid. There's no glitches anywhere.
Yeah, I didn't notice anything, like I said when I was reading it out loud. This app, actually, I didn't read before I started recording. It was one of, I think there were 3 in total that I just kind of jumped into randomly.
Yeah.
And it came so easy that I was really impressed, and, like, everything fell into place in this app. So it works overall really, really well. That's really all I have to say about Unga. I like the name.
Yeah.
Unga.
Yes, that's quite
nice.
fun.
She's not at all how I pictured her when the names of the applications were released, but
yeah, no,
you
not
never
at all.
know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, she has a very similar, playful narrative tone to Ashtad. There's that slightly comedic author. So, presenting a normal situation, but showing the things that don't fit but do still fit, like this whole you should consider investing. Beautiful little line, just sitting there telling us Unga's mind is absolutely not on this. She's just like, you really should just put the money away.
Yeah,
set
she's
yourself
such a mom.
up and move on. Absolutely, 100% mom friend.
It's like, invest your savings, sweetie. Brilliant. Okay, now keep robbing me, good girl. Well, she could spank him, but she's gonna breathe. She'll get him back later.
Yeah, it's very good. This tone is lovely. I mean, there's nothing super remarkable about it, but she does stand out because she's well executed. This is the consequence of crafting. This is a well crafted app, and I think that's really it.
Yeah. All right. Well.
Hi everybody. So I know that Foxpen introduced the video saying we were going to go through all 4 categories left over, but Nara lost an awful lot of my side of the recording. That's me. I'm Nara. I'm the one who lost a lot of my half of the recording. So at the moment we can pretty much only give you the Marksman, because we got halfway through Brigand after that, and then my half of the recording packed in. Very sorry about that. I'm going to try and backfill everything that's left over on Brigand onwards, and get that rendered and out sometime soon. For now, this will have to be it. Apologies. Be back in touch as soon as I can. Ta-ra!